Hi folks, welcome to week number 6 of Interpersonal Communications Online at Hennepin Technical College for spring of 2015. As you can see from looking at our schedule, we are just cruising right along here, being that we are now officially starting week number 6, which is February 16th through February 20th. We are getting very close to that halfway mark. Note that week number 8, because there are 16 weeks in the semester, is officially halfway through. So we are very quickly getting to that halfway mark. I'm recording this video on February 13th, and I'm going to talk about weeks number 6 and 7 in this video, so that you can, if you want, to be working ahead a little bit on the discussion post that is coming up during week number 7. So let's start, folks, just talking a little bit about what's happened so far in the semester. I think you have some really good, solid foundation for the course at this point. You have chapters 1, 2, and 3, which is a strong base of, introduction to the idea of interpersonal communication, introduction to perception and self-concept, and then culture and intercultural communication. And now you've officially submitted your first paper as well. And I am busily reading and grading those. My hope is to have your perception interviews completely read and scored by early next week. So check back on the D2L grade site either Monday or Tuesday. I'm hoping to have all those finished up. From what I've seen so far, you guys have done an excellent job. So I'm very encouraged to continue reading those. So you have a very strong base of kind of the foundation of interpersonal. This next 2 weeks here, chapter 6 and 7, we're going to focus our study on the 2 individual channels. So chapter 4 is all about using verbal communication. So words, how do we become more aware of our words? How do we sharpen our communication skills as it relates to word choice, being specific? So that's all about verbal communication. And then week number 7, we tag right on top of that verbal with nonverbal communication. I think you'll find this chapter 5 very interesting, because one of the things that I think folks are a little bit surprised by is that the majority of our information as it relates especially to emotion comes from nonverbal communication. So not so much what is said, but how it is said. So I think this is a great chapter just to kind of, again, layer on top of that foundation that you already have related to interpersonal communication. And chapters 4 and 5, I think, will really go a long way in adding tools or skills to your communication toolbox. So I hope you read those and then take those skills and knowledge base that you're learning and really apply those in your everyday communication. So for next week, which is week number 6, we're reading chapter 4, verbal communication. All that is due for next week is quiz number 4, which is due by Friday, February 20th. Your quiz score, folks, are looking really good. So keep up. If you're getting, a B or B plus or higher, keep up whatever you are doing. Hopefully you're kind of in the rhythm of the online testing now. If you are not quite getting those scores that you would like on your quizzes, remembering that half of your grade comes from the online quizzes for our course, please do make sure that you take the time to go into the Learning Resource Center, have them help you with some studying and some quiz preparation skills. The other thing that I just really want to remind you about is that Cengage website. Remembering on the website for each of the chapters, there are flashcards, there are games, there are practice quizzes. So as you sit down to take these quizzes, remember that probably the majority of your classmates are using those flashcards. They're using those practice quizzes. They're playing those games. So if you are not doing those things, you are really at a disadvantage, because chances are very good that most of your classmates are using those resources in order to get good scores on their quizzes. So just a reminder to make sure to use those resources that are on the Cengage website. So please make sure you take Chapter 4 quiz by Friday, February 20th. And then just another quick reminder that any quizzes submitted past that 20-minute mark will not receive credit. So please make sure that you watch that quiz timer very closely. That said, however, I do want you to take your time and make sure if there's 20 minutes, use 19 minutes. Really go back and make sure. It was interesting, I was looking at quizzes from last week and I just kind of bopped in and looked at some of the quiz scores that were a little bit lower. And it was interesting to me, the quizzes that were a little bit lower were the students that were only taking like 10 or 11 minutes to complete the quiz. In that case, if you're done and you still have 10 minutes left in the quiz time window, then absolutely go back. If you're not sure about one particular question, take the time, look it up because you have that time. So just some quiz taking tips for you. As we look ahead then after week 6 to week 7, which is February 23rd to February 27th, this is when we're going to do Chapter 5, or Nonverbal Communication. And here again is when we have our second discussion posting due. And I want to encourage you before completing this discussion posting to go back and look at the comments that I gave you on your first discussion posting, just to make sure that if there were things that you needed to do differently or to add to or expand, that you do this for this second discussion posting. And I'm going to bop over to that in just a minute and talk a little bit more detail as far as what's required for that discussion posting. Remembering that all of your writing assignments are due on Wednesdays, so discussion postings and papers are all due on Wednesdays, and then here's quiz number 5 that is due on Friday, February 27th. So if we're looking ahead here almost to that halfway mark to the end of the semester. Okay, so I'm going to bop back here under Table of Contents, and I am going to go down here to Chapter 5, where you will see the discussion posting that is here. So when we're looking at the discussion posting for Chapter 5, what I'm going to ask that you do is go online and view this, a TED Talk. Hopefully you folks are familiar with TED Talks. It's a wonderful database of all different types of speakers on just a huge variety of topics. If you've never poked around in the TED Talk website, I encourage you to do that. It really is just fascinating, all the different speakers that are out there. Here's the link to the TED Talk by Amy Cuddy, who is a social psychologist that I would like you to watch. The TED Talk is entitled Your Body Language Shapes Who You Are. And what Amy talks about here is how not only does your body language affect how others see us, but by changing your body language, it can also change how you see yourself. So how you perceive your own self-concept and your own self-esteem. So I want to encourage you to watch that. It's about 21 minutes, and then you have 2 questions that I'm asking you to respond to. The first question is, do you agree with Amy Cuddy that you can fake it until you make it using nonverbal communication? And then think of a communication experience in which you needed to consciously project a nonverbal image. How did you change your nonverbal communication in order to achieve your desired image? So you're going to answer those 2 questions, and I'm just going to flip down here under grading rubrics. And when I go down under grading rubrics, I'm going to click on this discussion grading rubric. Just as a quick reminder, and again, remember all of the discussion postings are also listed here as well. But where I want to just again remind you is for a 10 out of 10 response, I'm looking for at least 4 definitions with page numbers and 4 concepts with page numbers and definitions applied in your response. So as you are answering those 2 questions, make sure that you are pulling in and citing at least 4 concepts from our textbook. Make sure that you clearly address both questions. Perfectly fine to put, question 1, answer it, question 2, answer it. Make sure that you are connecting what you're reading to how you're answering so that you're really showing that you understand and can apply those text concepts. Make sure that you're checking for grammar and mechanical errors. One of the comments that I did find myself making quite often on your first discussion posting was, hey, I'm seeing some grammar spelling or some grammar errors or some spelling errors, and just really simple things like, if you're writing something and you're not capping the I, or you've got misspellings, or your grammar isn't quite right. Please make sure, folks, that if you're challenged a little bit by writing, that you make sure that you double check that. Use the Learning Resource Center. They're more than happy to help you with that. I'm more than happy too if you get your discussion posting written early. If you want to email it to me at least 3 days before it's due, I'm happy to take a look at it. I'm not going to do a complete grammar check or spell check for you, but I will point out that you do have some mechanical errors or some spelling errors if those are present. So do take advantage of that if you're not quite sure what you're supposed to be doing for those discussion postings. Remembering also that you do have to respond to at least 2 classmates. Responses should be 50 to 75 words in length. Remember that you do not have to cite concepts from our textbook in your responses to classmates, but rather that's just a chance for you to comment, agree with, disagree with, just it's as if you would respond to somebody in a face-to-face class discussion. So that's what we're going to be working on for the next 2 days. I just want to encourage you folks too that where we are in the semester, it's not too late. If you're not getting the grade that you want in the class, you certainly are not out of the ballpark yet. I mean, there still is time to turn around your grade. What I would really love to see is that when we finish up this course in May, that all of you are successful and that all of you have completed the course with the grade that you're hoping to get. So, really do take some time, look to see where you're at this point in the semester. And again, if you're not quite on track, do what you need to do to get yourself on track. I always feel so bad for students who don't pass the course and then wind up having to take it again. And it's just, to me, it's just so sad because you wind up paying for the course again. You wind up, duplicating your work effort, so you have to do all those assignments a second time. When truly, I know that each of you are capable of being successful. If you just put the time and the energy in this semester, I know that you all can be successful. So again, please email me if you have any questions or concerns. If you feel like you need to come in and meet with me face to face, I am more than happy to do that. Just come in during one of my office hours. If that doesn't work for you and you'd like to do a phone call, that's fine too. I'm more than happy to do a phone conference with you as well. So enjoy. This is the day before Valentine's Day. Enjoy your Valentine's holiday. And please let me know, folks, if you have any questions or any concerns. Take care, folks. Have a good weekend.